Right now, millions of SSI recipients across America are about to receive a payment on February 27th, and a lot of people have no idea why it's coming early or what they need to do before February 28th to protect their next check. Here's the truth. Nobody is clearly explaining to you. March 1st, 2026 falls on a Sunday, and February 28th is a Saturday, which means the Social Security Administration is required by federal law to push your March payment forward to Friday, February 27th. That's not a bonus. That's not extra money. That is your March SSI money arriving days earlier than normal. And if you budget wrong, if you spend that money thinking another check is right behind it, you could find yourself financially short for an entire month. On top of that, this year's 2.8% COLA increase already bumped average checks, with many retirees now collecting over $2,400 monthly, depending on their earnings history. But here's what nobody's telling you. Missing key steps like updating your direct deposit, verifying your My Social Security account, or understanding this calendar shift could delay or disrupt the money you worked decades to earn. Stay right here because in this video, I'm going to walk you through every single thing you need to know before that February 28th deadline so your money lands exactly where it should, on time, every time. So let's start from the very beginning, because I want to make sure every single person watching this video fully understands what is happening with their Social Security money right now, and why this particular moment in February 2026 is one you absolutely cannot ignore. A lot of seniors across America are confused, frustrated, and frankly a little scared because they keep hearing about payment dates changing, new COLA numbers, and Social Security rules shifting around, and nobody is sitting down and explaining it in plain, simple English. That stops today. I'm going to walk you through everything step by step, and by the time this video is over, you are going to feel confident, informed, and fully prepared to handle your benefits the right way. Let's talk about what is actually happening with this February 28th situation, because it is more important than most people realize. Every single year, the Social Security Administration follows a very strict federal payment calendar. That calendar is built around one core rule. If your scheduled payment date falls on a weekend or a federal holiday, the SSA is required to move your payment to the business day immediately before that date. Now, in March 2026, the first of the month falls on a Sunday. That means the SSA cannot send out March 1st SSI payments on March 1st. So instead, they are pushing that payment forward to Friday, February 27th. And because the deadline for everything connected to that payment cycle closes out on February 28th, that date becomes critically important for anyone who needs to make changes, updates, or corrections to their account. Now here is where so many seniors make a costly mistake, and I really need you to hear this clearly. When that payment arrives on February 27th, it is your March money. It is not an early bonus. It is not an extra deposit. It is the check you would have received on March 1st, simply arriving a few days sooner because of how the calendar falls. The reason this matters so much is budgeting. If you receive that money on February 27th and you spend it the way you normally would, not realizing it needs to last you through the entire month of March, you could find yourself in a very tough financial spot by mid-March with no additional SSI deposit coming. This happens every single year to thousands of seniors, and it is completely avoidable once you understand what is going on. Let's also talk about the dollar amounts, because this is where things get really interesting for 2026. Thanks to the cost of living adjustment that went into effect at the start of this year, Social Security retirement benefits increased by 2.5%. Now that might sound small on paper, but for millions of Americans who depend on this money to cover rent, groceries, medication, and utilities, even a modest increase makes a real difference. The maximum SSI federal benefit rate for an individual in 2026 is now $960 per month, and for couples it sits at $1,450. But when you combine SSI with Social Security retirement benefits, or when you factor in someone who has a strong earnings history and has waited until full retirement age or beyond to claim, those monthly totals can climb well past $2,400, and in some cases significantly higher. The average Social Security retirement benefit right now is sitting around $1,176 per month, according to the most recent SSA data. But averages can be misleading because plenty of retirees who worked for 30 or 40 years in decent paying jobs and waited until age 67 or even 70 to start collecting are receiving checks that are substantially higher. If you delayed your benefits until age 70, for example, you could be receiving up to 32% more than your full retirement age benefit, and that adds up to serious money over time. The point here is that your specific payment amount depends on your own work history, when you claimed, and whether you are receiving any additional state supplements on top of your federal benefit. Now let's get into what you actually need to do before February 28th, because this is the action part of the conversation, and it is critical. The first thing every senior watching this should do right now is log into your My Social Security account at ssa.gov. If you do not have an account yet, creating one takes about 10 minutes, and it is completely free. Inside that account, you can see your payment history, your scheduled deposit dates, your benefit verification letters, and most importantly, your direct deposit information. You want to make sure that your bank account details on file with the SSA are completely up to date and accurate. If there is even one digit wrong in your routing number or account number, your payment can bounce back to the SSA and getting it reissued can take weeks. That is not a situation you want to be in, especially around a payment date as important as this one. The second thing you want to check is your mailing address on file if you are still receiving paper checks. Now, the SSA has been strongly encouraging everyone to switch to direct deposit for years, and for good reason. Direct deposit is faster, safer, and far less likely to be affected by mail delays or theft. If you are still getting paper checks, I genuinely encourage you to make the switch before February 28th. You can do it online through your My Social Security account. You can call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213, or you can walk into your local Social Security office and a representative will help you get it set up. The sooner you make that switch, the more protected your payments will be going forward. Another thing I want you to be aware of is the issue of overpayments, because this has been a huge topic in the Social Security world over the past year. The SSA has been sending out overpayment notices to tens of thousands of beneficiaries, basically telling people that they were paid more than they were entitled to at some point, and now the agency wants that money back. Some of these overpayment amounts are enormous. We're talking thousands of dollars in some cases, and the letters can be absolutely terrifying to receive, especially if you are a senior living on a fixed income and you had no idea anything was wrong. If you have received one of these notices, please do not panic, and please do not ignore it. You have the right to appeal. You have the right to request a waiver if paying the money back would cause you serious financial hardship. And you have the right to request that the SSA reduce the amount being withheld from your monthly check while the appeal is being processed. The worst thing you can do is throw that letter in a drawer and pretend it does not exist, because the SSA will start collecting, and they will take it directly out of your benefit payment. I also want to spend a few minutes talking about scams, because this is a serious and growing problem that is specifically targeting seniors right now. Every time there is news about Social Security payments, payment dates, or benefit changes, scammers jump on it and start flooding phone lines with fake calls pretending to be from the Social Security Administration. They will tell you that your Social Security number has been suspended. They will tell you that you owe money and must pay immediately or lose your benefits. They will pressure you to pay with gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency. I want you to hear this as clearly as possible. The real Social Security Administration will never call you and demand immediate payment. They will never threaten to arrest you. They will never ask you to pay with gift cards. If you get a call like that, hang up immediately and report it to the SSA's Office of the Inspector General at oig.ssa.gov. These scams are sophisticated, they are aggressive, and they are stealing billions of dollars from seniors every single year. Now let's talk about something that does not get nearly enough attention, and that is the question of whether you are actually receiving all the benefits you are entitled to. A surprising number of seniors across America are either not enrolled in programs they qualify for, or they are receiving less money than they should be getting because of errors in their records or gaps in their understanding of the system. For example, if you are receiving SSI and you also qualify for Medicaid, SNAP food benefits, or the Medicare Savings Program, which can pay your Medicare Part B premiums for you, you should absolutely be enrolled in those programs. Many seniors do not even know these programs exist, or they assume they make too much money to qualify, when in reality, they do not. Taking the time to sit down with a benefits counselor at your local area agency on aging, which is completely free, could literally put hundreds of additional dollars into your pocket every single month. And finally, let's talk about what comes next, because the Social Security landscape is going to keep evolving throughout 2026 and beyond. There are ongoing conversations in Congress about the long-term solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund, potential adjustments to the full retirement age, and changes to how benefits are calculated for certain groups of workers. None of these changes are happening overnight, and nothing is being cut without notice. But as someone who depends on or will one day depend on Social Security, staying informed is one of the most powerful things you can do to protect yourself. Subscribe to SSA's official newsletter at ssa.gov, check in with trusted sources regularly, and never rely on social media rumors or sensational headlines for your information about benefits. The truth is always more nuanced, and the details always matter more than the headline. You have worked your entire life for these benefits. You paid into this system for decades, through every job, every paycheck, every year, and you deserve to receive every single dollar you are entitled to, on time, without confusion and without fear. The February 28th deadline is not something to be afraid of. It is something to be ready for. And now you are.